Hi students, a very good afternoon to all of you. Today I am going to start, or you can say continue, with the non-fiction which we were doing in the past so many days. So today I'll end this section non-fiction, and few authors are only left under this section of non-fiction. So to start with, the first author which I am going to take today is Walter Savage. Walter Savage Landor. He was born in 1775 and died in 1864. Good afternoon, Samiksha. Good afternoon, Nisarga. All the students, you may make your presence here. So yes, so who is Walter Savage Landor? I have already taught you many writers like Hazlitt, Lamb, De Quincey, and other romantic critics in the last lectures, but this is a new author for you because it is now the non-fiction area. So I have to cover maximum non-fiction writers under this fourth section of your UGC NET syllabus. So while Hazlitt, Charles Lamb, De Quincey, or the other romantics who went back to the early English literature for their inspiration, means कि ये जारे जितने लोग थे, they went back to English literature to get some inspiration, but he, that is Landor, he has given us, he has shown a reaction from the prevailing romanticism. Why? Because this was the age of romanticism. 1798, remember 1798 when the lyrical ballads was published. So this was the age of romantic revival. So in this age, in this period, Walter Savage Landor has shown a reaction from the prevailing romanticism. How? By his imitation of the ancient classical writers. This means that he was a writer who actually loved to read and write and to know and to acknowledge the great ancient writers. His life was basically very extraordinary, and on the other side, he was a man of egoism. He was a man who had a lot of anger, and there is a work which is known as, which is considered to be his classical style or superb classical work, known as Pericles and Aspasia. Pericles and Aspasia. Pericles and Aspasia. So what is this work? This is some classical work, a superb classical style work, and he was a man of high ideals. And his reaction from romanticism is very much remarkable in his early romantic poem known as Gebir, Gebir. In the middle, I'm also giving you the name of this poem also, though it is not, because second time we are not going to come again back to this author. So I also tell you about the poems or dramas as well, but the main focus is on the fiction part. So this was his great effort. It is considered to be a romantic poem, and this work basically rivals the works of Byron, Shelley, and other poets also. In which respect? In the respect of extravagance. And one of his great prose works जो हमें पढ़ना है इस नॉन फिक्शनल एरिया में, उसका नाम है The most noted prose work of Lander is his 6 volumes of Imaginary Conversations. Imaginary Conversations. Vandana, good afternoon. Saman, good afternoon. Imaginary Conversations, his 6 volumes. And this is considered to be his most important work. So इसको आप लिख लीजिए, ये है 1824 से लेकर के, मतलब चूंकि 6 वॉल्यूम्स में है, सो इट टुक टाइम 1846. Imaginary Conversations. Clear? So now we will move further. So we come to again Pericles and Aspasia, which I had just given you. What is Pericles and Aspasia? Pericles and Aspasia is a series of imaginary letters. Pericles and Aspasia is a series of imaginary letters which tells us the experiences of Aspasia. And who is Aspasia? She is a young lady from Asia Minor. She visits Athens at the summit of its fame and glory in the great age of Pericles. That is why the name is Pericles and Aspasia. Again, I'll repeat you. This is important. It is a series of imaginary letters which tells the experiences of Aspasia. She is a young lady from Asia Minor who visits Athens at the summit of its fame and glory in the great age of Pericles. And this work, Pericles and Aspasia, is considered to be the best among all the Lander's works. Clear? So this is a brief introduction about Lander. So you must have written it. Now I come to a very famous author, that is Thomas Carlyle. Thomas Carlyle was born in 1795 and he died in 1881. See again the Romantic period. And who was Carlyle? Carlyle basically was a man who at the initial ages had struggled poverty, and he was very ill, faced a lot of difficulties due to his illness, and his contemporaries were basically people who found Thomas Carlyle as a different personality. And his father, Carlyle's father, was a farmer, and despite that the family of Carlyle was lacking in means, but this brilliant person, this brilliant child, he studied a lot of, many years. He used to walk miles and miles to get his enrollment to the university, and he enrolled himself at the topmost university known as the Edinburgh University. And he basically became very famous for his spiritual autobiography known as Sartus Resartus. Sartus Resartus, जो कि कई बार एग्जाम में पूछा जाता है. Sartus Resartus, SARTOR मैं स्पेलिंग लिख दूं क्या? Sartus Resartus. क्लियर? इसको कंप्लीट करने के बाद, कुछ वर्षों के बाद, he started working on his history of the French Revolution. And this history of the French Revolution is considered to be his most important work. And later on, there is a work which uh, which is known as Heroes and Hero Worship, which became very successful. And because of this work, he was so much encouraged that he further tried to write history, philosophy, and many other things. So, heroes and hero worship, clear. And again, other important biography, which is considered to be his last major work, and that is a biography, The History of Frederick the Great of Prussia. The history of Frederick the Great of Prussia, Prussia. उस जमाने में this work, or you can say the passages of this work, had great consideration, had great power, and it was considered to be a masterpiece. But now, today, it is almost neglected by the universities all over the country, all over the world. Now, uh, there is a work known as Past and Present, PAST and Present. And what is this work? In this work, he preached to his contemporaries in a very forceful manner. And in which manner? That he exerted a tremendous influence because of this work, past and present. Clear, students? And Carlyle is also known for his letters and reminiscences, which are very interesting and which also became one of his famous works. So have you noted it down? Correct. So now we continue. Heroes and Hero Worship, जो work था, this is considered to be a most widely read book. चारों तरफ पढ़ा जाता है ये work. And he established his name because of heroes and hero worship. Then comes, I told you, the French Revolution, which is also an important work. And इसमें जो chapter है, the very title of the chapters, एक title है इसमें chapter का जिसका नाम है Astrea Redux. Astrea Redux. और Astrea Redux क्या था? Astrea Redux was a poem which was given to Charles II at the time of monarchy, restoration of monarchy जब हुआ था. So that is known as Astrea Redux. वो तो खैर अलग चीज है, that is a poem. So here the title of the chapters in the French Revolution is Astrea Redux, also one of the chapters. Sartor Resartus मैंने आपको बताया ही, it is a creative work and it is also a mixture of philosophy and romance. And sometimes while writing his works, he is in a habit of avoiding simplicity. He is not simple, he is not direct, he avoids, and he even avoids the form and the proportion. And in spite of avoiding these things, means कि अगर हम इन चीजों को avoid कर रहे हैं तो हमारे वर्क में कहीं ना कहीं fault आ जा रहा है. But in spite of these faults, it is impossible to read him at his best without the sentiments of enthusiasm. Now, one main work which I have left, it came into my mind, The Fall of the Bastille. The Fall of the Bastille. The Fall of the Bastille. So just write it down. That's all. लिख लिया आपने? So you have to just note it down that yes, he has also written this work, The Fall of the Bastille. Next comes a great author, TBM. Who is TBM? Who will give me the full name of TBM? I want to see in the message box. TBM. Now, who will tell me the full name of this great author? One of the greatest authors of the 19th century. He was born in 1800 and he died in 1859. Who will tell me that who is TBM? I will see on the message box. Just put your mind and see that whom it might be. Basically, mm, he was a person. He was a genius who was so famous, who became very famous that when he was 8 years old, मतलब जब वो 8 साल से पहले का था, 8 साल के पहले का था, when he was 8 years old, he had composed a proper compendium of English of universal history. He had composed a compendium of universal history and a verse romance in the style of Sir Walter Scott. Yeah, Khatija, it is correct. Shreya, you are also correct. Thomas Babington Macaulay, correct. TBM. Few students are right. And he has written a poem known as Fingal, Fingal, Fingal. Fingal. It is a poem. It is a poem in 12 books. It is a poem in 12 books. 12 books की ये poem है. मैंने आपको याद होगा yesterday I had told you that different magazines and reviews, उसमें एक नाम बताया था Edinburgh Review. So this is a poem in 12 books and his career basically as a writer began with a success and essay on John Milton. उसका career में success कैसे आया? Sensational success कैसे आया? When he wrote an essay on John Milton and published that essay in the Edinburgh Review, which I had told you yesterday. और इस Edinburgh Review के लिए भी he started writing and became a very popular name in writing the journals also. In 1830, he got a chance to enter the parliament, and a few years later, he was also appointed to the council. And that council where he was appointed administered the British rule in India. So that was the profile. बीच में वो इंग्लैंड चला गया था, and after returning to England again he entered to parliament, और फिर से उसको सीट मिल गई थी कहां पे? कैबिनेट में again. And he wrote a very notable work known as History of England. History of England is written by Macaulay. ये एक बार this question came in the NET examination that who has written the history of England. Very notable writing, very notable work. History of England. Now, next author I'm going to tell you about is next author. Write it down. Is John H.N. Now you will again tell me the full name. John, full name. I have given you the first name. John H.N. John H.N. So what is H and what is N? What is John H.N.? तो आपको बताना है H.N. कौन है. John was basically a man, a writer, an author who was very spiritual at a very early age. And when he was only 15 years of age, he underwent an inward conversion, believing that he had been elected to eternal glory. And the effect of this conversion lasted throughout his life. And once he went to a tour to the Mediterranean, where he has written a very famous hymn, HYMN hymn, and that is known as the Led Kindly Light. L-E-E-D, Led Kindly, Kindlylist, Lead Kindly Light. And he became, yes, Samiksha, you are right, John Henry Newman. This is the right answer, John Henry Newman. He also became a priest, and because of his natural ability, he got many important posts in the Roman Catholic churches. And what happened? He was very successful in his position, but it was limited by the local opposition. हर जगह देखिए opposition होता है, तो local opposition के वजह से उसका जो success है वो थोड़ा limited हो गया था. And he started writing a series of lectures. Those series of lectures were later on published as a complete title, and the title name is The Idea of a University. Very important. The Idea of a University. ये क्या है? What is the idea of this university? अगर आपसे कोई पूछे तो आप बता सकते हैं कि it is a series of lectures. Clear? Then he also published an autobiography. इसने एक ऑटोबायोग्राफी भी पब्लिश कराई जिसका नाम था अपोलोजिया प्रो वीटा सुआ. वीटा सुआ, अपोलोजिया प्रो वीटा सुआ. इसको इंग्लिश में कहते हैं अ डिफेंस ऑफ हिज लाइफ. अ डिफेंस ऑफ हिज लाइफ. और इस वर्क से उसको काफी शोहरत, काफी नाम मिला. ओके, सो these are the details which you have to know in the non-fictional area of these works. And I think last but not least, we are going to complete this complete section with the author, that is, who is this? Tell me. This is the last author which I have made for you in this non-fictional area, जहां से हम लोग शुरू हुए थे और यहां पे आके हम लोग खत्म कर रहे हैं. So now in this section you have at least got everything, and now it is the students' homework to do a lot of hard work in this area, because somehow or the other I'm managing everything to the precision, means nectar. So who is this man? No, yes, Ruskin. Khatija Ruskin, correct. John Ruskin. John Ruskin was born in 1819 and he died in 1900. And as far as the prose literature is concerned, which we are concerned with right now in this section, so Victorian age ka tha ye, this person was ranked next to Carlyle, जबकि Carlyle कितना बड़ा नाम था. Clear? And he became, you can say, he was one of the great masters of English who became very famous by his work Modern Painters. And Modern Painters is written in 5 volumes. 5 volumes. There are many questions which have been coming on John Ruskin. तो John Ruskin बहुत ध्यान से पढ़िएगा और इसकी डिटेलिंग्स आप अपनी जरूर करिएगा. Then there is a work known as the Seven Lamps of Architecture. The Seven Lamps of Architecture. Note it down. Then the Stones of Venice. The Stones of Venice. Then Unto This Last. Unto This Last. And after this, he has written Sesame and Lilies. Sesame. Sesame and Lilies. Sesame and Lilies. A very important work, The Crown of Wild Olive. The Crown of Wild Olive. And his last work, which is considered to be his autobiography, which is also asked in the exam, is P-R-A, write it down, P-R-A-T-E-R-I-T-A. This is his autobiography and the last work by John Ruskin. And this has a lot of interesting, जिसको कहते हैं हिंदी में यादें, बहुत सारी उसकी कलेक्शंस हैं, बहुत सारी उसकी खूबसूरत यादें हैं जो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग भी हैं व्हेन यू रीड इट. एक छोटा सा डिस्क्रिप्शन 2 लाइन का और देना है मुझे आपको in this section, that is about Walter Pater. Walter Pater, yes. He is also one of the greatest critics and the prose writers of this age. That is Victorian age, and he is known for his great work under this section, that is appreciations. ये किस मूवमेंट में बिलोंग करता है, ऐसे कई बार क्वेश्चंस आ चुके हैं कि वॉल्टर पेटर बिलोंग्स टू विच मूवमेंट, दैट इज एस्थेटिक मूवमेंट. हमारे स्टडी मटेरियल में आपको मिलेगा इसका नाम. व्हेन यू गो टू दैट फाइल नोन एज I think literary terms, you find the alphabetical order aesthetic movement, you will find there Walter Pater, Oscar Wilde. That is the movement in which they belonged, they sponsored, and they were also headed by the pre-Raphaelite poets. So this appreciations is a critical work which is outstanding by Walter Pater. So students, we have finished a great task in finishing with you the 4th unit, that is non-fiction, correct? So now I'm coming back to my initial lectures. If you remember that I had told you once that if we start with the drama, poetry, fiction, non-fiction, we will not be able to put our the chronology, and those things will not be embedded in your mind properly as I wish. फिर भी हमने देखिए आपको नॉन फिक्शन पूरा अलग से करा के खत्म कर दिया. फिनिश. अगेन कमिंग बैक टू माय ओरिजिनल लेक्चर, प्रीवियस लेक्चर्स, जहां पे हमने शुरू किया था और जहां पे खत्म किया था, दैट वाज एलिजाबेथन एज. याद आया? डू यू रिमेंबर? डू यू रिमेंबर? So now from today, from this lecture, I am coordinating with you for the 3 units. मैं देखिए आपको फिर से यहां पे लिख देता हूं आपको डिटेल्स. 1, 2, 3, 4. नॉन फिक्शन, फिक्शन, ड्रामा, पोइट्री. कंप्लीट, ये कंप्लीट हो गया स्टूडेंट्स। मैसेज पे आप लोग बात करते जाइए हमसे। वी हैव कंप्लीटेड दिस थिंग। नाउ ड्रामा, पोइट्री एंड फिक्शन, these three I will be coordinating in a unity of my lectures, means my chronology of lectures will contain all these things. I will not cut it like this. Suppose if I cut it, then the chronology will break. What I will do, that only I will put out the non-fiction area from these places. Clear students? Fabina, good evening. मेरे ख्याल से आप समझ पा रहे होंगे मेरी बात ध्यान से, कि ये जो पोर्शन हमने खत्म कर लिया है, सिर्फ इस पोर्शन को इसमें से हम हटा देंगे जहां जहां फिक्शन आएगा। अदरवाइज दिस विल ऑल बी इन क्रोनोलॉजी एंड यू विल बी एंजॉइंग माई लेक्चर्स एंड यू विल बी गेटिंग ऑल द अप्रोच। मैं इसको अलग अलग अब नहीं करूंगा क्योंकि वो गड़बड़ आ जाएगा, दैट विल बी नॉट अ सूटेबल थिंग फॉर यू। सो नॉट टू वेस्ट टाइम एंड लेट अस स्टार्ट विद Shreya. Fine. Okay. I'm sure every student is fine with whatever I have discussed just now. If you have any problems, anything we could not understand, you just give me a message that sir I could not understand. Maybe ऐसा हो सकता है कि कुछ बच्चे ना समझ पाए हो कि हम क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं। यहाँ पे बच्चों मैं आपको एक चीज कहना चाहूंगा, क्योंकि मेरे पास ऑल ओवर इंडिया से कॉल्स आती ही रहती हैं फॉर दिस ऑनलाइन वीडियो क्लासेस। थोड़ा सा हमारा तो प्रयास रहता ही है, थोड़ा सा आप लोग भी ये प्रयास करें कि चूंकि इंडिया में यूजीसी नेट सेक्टर में आई एम द फर्स्ट हु हैज कम आउट टू हेल्प द स्टूडेंट्स फ्रॉम द एंटायर सेक्शन ऑफ द सोसाइटी, एंटायर कंट्री। अभी भी लोगों को बड़ा हिच है, बड़ा कंफर्टेबल फील नहीं कर रहे हैं सुनते ही, जबकि वो लिखते हैं सर आई वांट ऑनलाइन क्लास, और जब उनको लाइव क्लास के बारे में बताओ तो घबरा जाते हैं। सो इट इज समथिंग यू नो कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन इन टर्म्स। सो हम आपसे एक हेल्प चाहते हैं कि आप अपने अपने क्षेत्रों में या अपने जो आपके फेलो जूनियर सीनियर्स हैं या जो भी हैं, उनको कम से कम ये बताएं कि व्हाट इज लाइव लेक्चर्स, बिकॉज यू आर गेटिंग इट। बच्चे से घबराएं ना, क्योंकि वो समझ ही नहीं पा रहे हैं ये है क्या, व्हाट इज दिस, in spite that they are giving writing that sir I want online lectures, I am not able to understand what is online, और online पता नहीं क्या होता है, I don't know what is online. So just see to it that how you can help other students, क्योंकि there is a vast level of students who are bereaved, yeah, you are not getting this help in such a proper way. Jacobian age is 1603 to 1625. आज मेरी सुबह ही एक दो स्टूडेंट से बात हुई साउथ इंडिया में। उनके हस्बैंड्स ने इमीडिएटली दे से नो 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 यू कैनॉट रीड ऑनलाइन, you cannot read online. So that was the reaction, and that lady bichari, she was dying to get my classes, and she could not. And that husband said you better go and purchase the guides from the market and take help from internet. तो हमारी सोसाइटी में ये जो मेल शॉविनिज्म है, वो हमारी विमेन को, दैट इज विमेन एम्पावरमेंट जो आजकल है, उसको अभी भी कहीं ना कहीं दबा देता है, जिससे बहुत बच्चे महरूम हो जाते हैं पढ़ाई करने से। तो थोड़ा सा हम लोग भी प्रयास करें कि बच्चों को पता चले और अच्छी चीज वो पढ़ करके अपना करियर बना लें। दैट इज वाई यू पीपल आर एबल टू सी मी वॉच लाइव हियर, एंड यू आर दोज लकी स्टूडेंट्स। सो जैकोबियन एज, दैट इज जेम्स वन। जेम्स वन कौन था, मैंने आपको पहले भी बताया है। ही वॉज द किंग ऑफ स्कॉटलैंड, and he came after the death of Queen Elizabeth. King of Scotland पहले था, और जब किंग ऑफ स्कॉटलैंड था तो उसका नाम क्या था? जेम्स सिक्स। ये ध्यान रखिएगा, बिफोर बिकमिंग किंग ऑफ इंग्लैंड ही वॉज जेम्स सिक्स इन किंग ऑफ स्कॉटलैंड, एंड when he became king of England, he became James I with the union of English and Scottish crowns. यूनियन हो गया था इंग्लिश का और स्कॉटिश क्राउन्स का, तो ही बिकेम जेम्स वन until his death up to 1625 at the age of 58. And he continued to reign this three kingdoms. तीन किंगडम उसने राज्य किया है. कौन कौन से तीन किंगडम? इंग्लैंड, स्कॉटलैंड एंड आयरलैंड, 22 साल तक. और इस पीरियड को कहते हैं जैकोबियन एरा, जैकोबियन एज. इसके राज्य में अंडर जेम्स वन रूलिंग, the golden age of Elizabethan literature and drama continued. In spite that Queen Elizabeth died, but her personality, her versatility, her influence, her golden days was so much कि उसको जाते जाते भी बहुत समय लग गया, और पूरा जैकोबियन एज जेम्स वन का राज्य करते हुए भी पब्लिक ने उसको राजा माना ही नहीं, और बल्कि दैट ही वाज अ किंग हु केप्ट हिमसेल्फ अलूफ फ्रॉम द पब्लिक. पब्लिक में वो आता ही नहीं था. ही केप्ट हिमसेल्फ एंजॉयिंग इनसाइड, एंड he was himself a talented scholar, no doubt, and he was also a author of many books. जैसे उसने एक बुक लिखा है जेम्स वन ने, डेमोनोलॉजीज, डेमन DEMONOLOGIES, demonologies. Then he also wrote a book known as True Law of Free Monarchies, True Law of Free Monarchies. And he was the man who sponsored the translation of the Bible that was named after him. And what was the name of that Bible? The Authorized King James Version. आप समझ में आया कि ये नाम कैसे आया? The Authorized King James Version. यही वो बाइबल थी जिसको स्पॉन्सर किया था जेम्स वन ने. So now I'll tell you the brief account of the conditions depending regarding the social, the political areas of Jacobean age. Basically, students, 17th century की हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं. देखिए 17th century की. 17th century was an age where the dominant force was Puritanism. Puritan age था ये. Puritanism powerful था इस समय. And because it was age of Puritanism, and it was also thereby it was also age of pessimism. And what are the factors which account for the pessimism or the Puritanism? इस समय तक क्या था कि जो रेनेसां इन्फ्लुएंस था, द रेनेसां इंपल्स, द रेनेसां फ्लेयर was getting down and down after the death of Queen Elizabeth, क्योंकि वो जा चुकी थी, वही थी जो उस पिलर को हाईटेक की हुई थी. And the level of optimism, the level of patriotism, the level of faith, the level of security, the level of power, the level of food, shelter and everything which prevailed, faith in her reign, was succeeded by two contradictory things, and those two things are disillusionment and defeat. कहां क्वीन एलिजाबेथ का एज और कहां जेम्स वन का, which is full of disillusionment and defeat. And why? Because there was total feeling of uncertainty and instability, and because there was no obvious heir to her throne after the death, so the people started becoming insecure that what will happen, and the situation became, it reached this climax, and ultimately 1602 में James Stuart of Scotland was the probable heir. But the relief which people got after the coming of James in 1603 could not last long, and again a feeling of uncertainty and danger became very prominent in his reign. And why? The reason was that the standards of the court, the dignity, the increase in the expenditure, everything was coming down and producing a lot of dissatisfaction among the countrymen. इन राजनीतिक विषयों को छोड़ दें अगर हम, if we leave these political causes, you will also find religious causes why people of this country were replete with fear, disgrace, anxiety. And it was this period only that Puritanism emerged and they started controlling. And who are these Puritan people? They are basically fanatics. They are extremists. And these extremists, these Puritans and the Catholics, एक वर्ड है इंग्लिश में जिसुइस, ये है. ये जो लोग होते हैं इनको कहते हैं दे आर एक्सट्रीम कैथोलिक्स, एक्सट्रीम कैथोलिक. सो जो एक्सट्रीमिस्ट थे, जो प्यूरिटन्स थे, जो जिजुइस थे, इन्होंने अपनी आवाज नहीं उठाई, इनकी हिम्मत नहीं थी आवाज उठाने की जब क्वीन एलिजाबेथ थी. बट with the extravagance, with the immorality of James I, and because he could not communicate to the people, he failed, which contributed to his unpopularity among the people. And because James I was a very clever man, and he never had an open conflict with the people and the king. सामने सामने कॉन्फ्लिक्ट कभी नहीं करता था, लेकिन अपने पीछे वो क्या छोड़ गया? अपना तो चला गया, अपने पीछे वो छोड़ गया lot of serious problems for his own son Charles I. When he died, Charles I came to the throne in 1625, and there was no compromise between the despotic Charles. Despotic word मैंने आपको बताया था Tudor dynasty में. So again Charles became a very despotic ruler. So there was no compromise possible between the despotic Charles and the parliament, which became a problem and a thing which became hostile to the king. And the nation was divided into two. पहला, the supporters of the king. हमेशा जैसे उधर एक बार था, आगे है चल के Whigs and Tories. In the same way, the nation was divided into two parts. पहला, the supporters of the king, who are known as supporters of the king को क्या कहते हैं? कोई मैसेज पे बताएगा हमें? supporters of the king को क्या कहते हैं? Supporters of the kings are known as cavaliers, and the supporters of the parliament, they are mainly Puritans. Mainly, उनको क्या कहते हैं? उनको कहते हैं Roundheads. Fabina, I am sure you are able to understand everything, though I am not using Hindi, but somehow or the other 1-2% Hindi comes as a, as a North Indian. So, but it hardly matters. It has nothing connection with your English literature. There are many South Indian students, but few understand Hindi a lot, but few don't understand. So I always take care that I don't speak Hindi, but still it comes out to explain you. So they are known as cavaliers, the supporters of the king, and the supporters of the parliament known as the Roundheads. Now, फिर क्या हुआ कि देयर वाज अ इस विभाजन से, इस टूटने से, द रिजल्ट ऑफ द प्यूरिटन अपोजिशन, देयर वाज अ कंप्लीट कोलैप्स ऑफ ड्रामा. and the theaters was closed down in 1642. With the opposition, it closed down in 1642, and Charles I was beheaded in 1649. Charles I was beheaded, and a strong Puritan government or Commonwealth, which was headed by Cromwell, founded in 1649. And for 12 years, till the death of Cromwell, Richard Cromwell, Oliver Cromwell, in 1659, the Puritans ruled the country and the entertainment of any kind was banned. किसी भी प्रकार का entertainment ban हो गया. The spiritual and the moral theories were rejected, and faith was shaken, and the man, the praja, the public was caught between disillusionment and fear, ghablahat, which ultimately ended in anxiety. Students, up to this point, everything clear, crystal clear, the age. Till now, any questions? अब तक जो मैंने पढ़ाया, अब तक में कोई क्वेश्चन है आपके पास? तो मैं मैसेज बॉक्स पे देख रहा हूं. Metaphysical poetry. What is metaphysical poetry? It is a new kind of poetry which started being written in the Jacobean England by the poets such as John Donne, Herbert Carew, John Wagum, Crashaw, Marvell, Cowley, and some others. Who are these metaphysical poets? बच्चों, ये जो मेटाफिजिकल पोएट्स थे, ये बहुत पढ़े लिखे थे. They were actually men of learning, and to show their learning was their first credential. They were very fond of metaphors, conceits, deep thoughts, and whatever poetry they wrote, it basically came out with the union of mind and soul. आत्मा और बुद्धि का मिलन था. It was a union of mind and soul. It was a union of thought and emotion. It was a union of sublimity and triviality. Contradictions का मेल था. And these metaphysical poets, they revolted against the melodious, sweet, smooth, Petrarchan, Surrean, Platonic feeling, or you can say diction of the Elizabethan age. They were not in favor of those diction. Diction means choice of words. And what they did, the change, they intellectualized the prevailing spirit. जो स्पिरिट, जो आत्मा चल रही थी, उसको उन्होंने इंटेलेक्चुअलाइज कर दिया, मीन्स उसको पढ़ा लिखा कर दिया. एंड आफ्टर इंटेलेक्चुअलाइजिंग द प्रिवेलिंग स्पिरिट, then wrote religious verses, amorous verses, and even satirical verses. In metaphysical poetry, what you will find at the top everywhere, conceits. And when they use these conceits, they basically fly from their thought process to some other world. And they use such conceits which is never to be seen, never to be thought, which is certainly something which is totally obscure, जो ना देखा है, ना सुना है, ना जाना है, ना समझा है. And that is why the definition of conceit can be a far-fetched comparison. A far-fetched comparison. And it is considered as an instrument. ये एक ऐसा इंस्ट्रूमेंट है, एक ऐसा तलवार है जिससे ये जो मेटाफिजिकल्स हैं, these metaphysical people, they use conceit as an instrument for revealing their wit, because wit, to come out with wit, was their cup of tea. And there is a huge difference to distinguish the normal poets and the metaphysical poets. First of all, these metaphysical poets, they were actually known or you can say they were actually expert in the concentration level. Means in small poetry lines you will find this much matter. It was written so precisely, and they never followed any stanza forms or any rhyming schemes or metrical patterns like that of the Elizabethan age. And they were very, suppose take the example of John Donne, very colloquial, abrupt opening. For God's sake, hold your tongue and let me love. Can you expect such a line from a poet like John Donne? Abrupt, shock. इसको कहते हैं shock tactics. For God's sake, hold your tongue and let me love. Who will write like this? It was John Donne. इसको कहते हैं जब हम पोएम को शुरुआत करें मुझे शॉक लग जाए, झटका लग जाए. And because of this shock tactics, the length, the lines and length, and the irregular accent made Ben Jonson comment on Donne. Ben Jonson ने Donne के ऊपर comment किया है, for not keeping of accent, he deserved hanging. इसको हिंदी में कहेंगे कि जॉनसन ने कहा है डन के लिए कि चूंकि वो एक्सेंट का बिल्कुल ख्याल नहीं करता, उसको लटका देना चाहिए. He deserves hanging. And their style was very, peculiar when they used to address to their beloved. Is this the way to address your beloved? But addressing to a beloved should always be very sentimental or very submissive. But these metaphysicals, they were not submissive or sentimental, but they were used to be offensive. इनकी जब पढ़िए तो लगता है कि offensive है hearer को. So that was the style. And the images which they are creating in the poems are very different, not at all like those of the Elizabethans, very unconventional, and they even took things from different areas of their knowledge, like astrology, theology, medicine, etc., etc. Love, which is supposed to be something so pure, so beautiful, and which has always been the best written by any poet of any order. These love poems also treated by the metaphysicals, written in a very different way. not at all traditional. And if we talk about John Donne, he was a metaphysical poet par excellence. And he has written most of his poetry during the Elizabethan age, though it was published only after his death in 1633. He is also considered to be an anti-Elizabethan poet, which I already told you. And because he has reacted, he did not take any conventions and traditions of the Elizabethan poetry like the pastoral, allegorical, mythological, love, or even their versification, even their imagery. He took nothing. He has defined a total different technique, and that is why पूरा system ही था metaphysical poetry. As I told you, that the most important characteristic of metaphysical poetry is wit, to show their learning, to show their wit. And what is wit, students? Wit से क्या होता है कि हम अपनी मानसिक जिम्नास्टिक दिखाते हैं कि हम कितने पढ़े लिखे हैं, और हम कैसे उसको दिखाएंगे? अपनी पोइट्री में विट का इस्तेमाल करके. एंड दिस विट यूज्ड टू कम आउट when these poets showed their mental jugglery. जगलरी किस चीज की? थॉट्स की. जगलरी जिम्नास्टिक्स किस बात की? थॉट्स की, पोइट्री में. एंड दैट जगलरी, दैट जिम्नास्टिक्स in poetry resulted in hyperbole. Hyperbole आप समझते ही होंगे. You can also see a great conceit and a great hyperbole written by T.S. Eliot in Prufrock poem. When he has, there is no meaning to that sentence. A beautiful evening compared to a patient etherized on the table. A conceit and such a hyperbole. So this is what, because T.S. Eliot was very much influenced by John Donne. So his poetry has also the metaphysics in it. So हम single sentence में कह सकते हैं that these metaphysicals, they played with thoughts. As कहीं पे वॉल्टर स्कॉट ने सही कहा है, somewhere Walter Scott has written कि metaphysicals played with thoughts as Elizabethans played with words. Elizabethans शब्दों के साथ खेलते थे, emotions के साथ खेलते थे, but they played with thoughts, they played with wit, they played with different style, gymnastics, jugglery of words, conceits, metaphors, things which are beyond your thoughts, obscurity. And why did they did so? Because they were men of learning, and to show their learning was their only and chief objective. So, students, I hope that you would have understood this chronological order beautifully, and from now, I hope that you will not forget all these things taught by me, और वो आपके पास जीवन भर एक धरोहर बन के रहेगा. मैंने बहुत सिंपल तरीके से आपको समझाने की कोशिश की है. I hope you would have loved to listen and see me beyond your expectations. So meet you once again tomorrow, same time. Thank you. If you have any messages, you can convey me here on the message box. Take care.